In this video, I will propose a theory which demonstrates that the reason US and Canada are wealthy and productive is because they speak English language, which is an alarm language, and I will demonstrate that the alarm sounds in the English language increase motivation and drive, allowing United States and Canada to be highly productive, industrious, and wealthy societies. So let's have a look at alarm sounds in nature, and then let's compare these alarm sounds to the alarm sounds found in the English language. The first example is an alarm or distress call produced by a magpie bird. Next, we have a distress call or alarm sound produced by a rat. The next example of a distress call or alarm call is that of a koala. And the final example is that of a cottontail rabbit. We can see that the distress or alarm sounds have a lot of similarity to that of a human cry or scream. And here is an example of a human scream. When listening to or when producing distress or alarm calls, we become somewhat distressed or alarmed ourselves. In fact, alarm or distress calls automatically prepare us for fight or flight, where a person or animal becomes more alert, focused, and attentive to the environment. Here we have an example of such behavior in a deer, where it's listening to distress calls, and you can see how its head is raised so it can see better. Ears are also raised to focus on the sounds. Its eyes are widely open to maximize its vision, and its movements are nervous and very alert. The question then is, can such distress or alarm calls exist within the English language? The simple answer is yes, they can exist in less extreme form. So normal alarm or distress calls sound like ah, ee, ow, I, a, an. However, the less intense version of these distress or alarm calls are a, e, ow, I, a, an. So let's look at some examples of English words where there are this type of alarm sounds. The first example of a word with alarm sound is the word see, and the E sound is long and is the part that is the alarm or distress sound. E, 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 E. The second word with alarm sound is Y. In this word, W is an approximant, which is a valve-like sound, and the I is the diphthong. In this case, the entire word Y is an alarm or distress sound. Why? 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 The third example of a word with alarm sound is the word claim. And in this case, the alarm or distress part is lame. Lame, 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 lame. The reason that the entire lame letter combination is an alarm sound is that even though L and M are consonants, acoustically they are valve-like sounds and they form part of this long and intense alarm sound with the diphthong A. English-speaking countries such as US and Canada, and virtually every country where people are highly productive and well organized, speak languages which have a large number of words with alarm or distress parts in them. And these sounds make the productive and wealthy societies more focused and attentive, just like the deer in the following video is more focused, attentive, and alert to danger when listening to alarm calls. So we have this amazingly beautiful land of Latin America with its rich cultures and friendly people. Yet something is missing when compared to the United States and Canada. The missing part is that somehow Latin America is not able to organize and function as well, and it's often poor, corrupt, and does not offer as many opportunities to its people.
There is nothing here. We're dying of starvation. There are no jobs. We'll see. We have to fight to get to the US.
Things are awful here. We have to find new opportunities. If we stay here, crime or starvation will kill us.
So the question is, what is missing? The answer is, Spanish and Portuguese languages do not have enough intense alarm sounds which are essential for Latin America to be highly focused, attentive, and thus productive, well organized, and prosperous. To demonstrate this lack of alarm sounds, let's compare the alarm sounds in English to that of Spanish. And here is a text in Spanish and English side by side, with approximately similar meaning. In each passage, the alarm sounds are marked in red. In this passage, English contains 37 syllables with alarm sounds out of the total of 60 syllables, while Spanish contains 12 syllables with alarm sounds out of the total of 82 syllables. In this case, alarm sounds occur in about 62% of English syllables, while in Spanish, alarm sounds occur only in 15% of syllables. Not only are there more alarm sounds in English, but what is important to note is that English contains sound combinations that create intense alarm sounds which do not occur in Spanish or Portuguese. One of the most obvious reasons why English has a much higher concentration of alarm sounds than Spanish or other Latin languages are the vowel sounds. In Spanish, all vowels are short, around 0.1 of a second in length. Thus, none of them are alarm sounds. They include I, as in the words mi, E, as in the word me, A, as in the word casa, O, as in the word por, and U, as in the word su. In English, on the other hand, vowels are often pronounced as diphthongs or long vowels, which are alarm sounds. So the E valve is pronounced as I, as in the word bike. E is pronounced as long E, as in the word see. A is pronounced as I, as in the word rake. O is pronounced as O, as in the word go. And U is pronounced as U, as in the word cute. The intensity of alarm sounds in English is also much higher. For instance, the diphthongs in English are much more intense alarm sounds, as they are much longer than in Spanish. This is because in English, the first valve in the diphthong is strong and often long. For instance, the diphthong au in the word now. While in Spanish and other Latin languages, in the majority of diphthongs, the first valve is a glide, such as y or w, and the second valve is strong but is short. For instance, you have the ya diphthong in the word hacia or the wa diphthong in the word cuatro. These diphthongs are quite short. They might not be long enough to form an alarm sounds. If they do, they are weak alarm sounds. Spanish does have some diphthongs where the first valve is strong. However, such diphthongs are relatively rare, and also importantly, they are much shorter than the English diphthongs, as the first strong valve is short. Thus, the diphthongs in Spanish and other Latin languages are not as intense alarm sounds as is the case in English and other Germanic languages. Importantly, there are two syllabic sound combinations that cause English and Germanic languages to have intense alarm sounds, which are not present in Spanish or other Latin languages. The first one is that there are many instances where nasal or lateral sounds such as N, M or L follow or precede diphthongs or long vowels, which cause the alarm sounds to be more intense, as lateral and nasal sounds acoustically are valve-like sounds. Secondly, when a long valve-like sound combinations are between consonants or consonantal clusters in a syllable, for instance, in the word joints, you have oin, the native speaker will pronounce this long valve-like combination in a higher pitch in order to preserve air. And this increase in pitch automatically increases the alarm or distress intensity of the sound, as in nature, the higher pitch represents a higher level of danger. And these type of sounds are not present in any of the Latin languages. So, as one can see, English has a large number of words with intense alarm or distress parts in them. And it's hard to believe, but these sounds are the driving force, the spirit, the energy of the US and Canada societies. On the other hand, what is missing in Mexican and other Latin American societies are the large amounts of words with intense alarm sounds in them, so that they can also be more focused, attentive, curious, just like the deer in the following video is more focused, attentive, and alert to danger when listening to the alarm calls. The question that arises in our time is, would Latin America become highly prosperous, advanced, and industrious if they were to insert alarm sounds into their languages? I believe that the answer is absolutely yes. With the adaptation of alarm sounds, the Latin American society will gain energy, drive, and focus to become a leading industrial and economic power, and they will also become cultural and innovation leaders of the world. Many people assume that it may be difficult to change a language so that it contains more alarm sounds. However, it is actually quite simple. An example would be the word is in English language, where the E is short and not an alarm sound. How would we change the word so that it contains an alarm sound? Well, we might add an A in front of it so that we have a diphthong I, where the word becomes ice. There are many ways to convert a non-alarm sound into an alarm sound. And here we have examples in English and Spanish, as can be seen in the image. If you would like to investigate this idea a little bit more closely, please check one of my book versions on the topic. Evolutionary Alarm Sounds Within Languages is the first version. Frighten the World into Prosperity is the second version. Motivate Poor Countries to Develop is the third version. A lot of you might say no way, or in Mexican, a poco. Even in this instant, no way has two alarm sounds, O and way, while a poco has none.